back on the Stephen Sulley study, we've got Mimboso here, the wellness company, capturing all the footage. Man next to me, if you're a film buff, which I definitely am, Terry, thank you very much for coming on my podcast. I really appreciate it.
No, pleasure.
I've never been on TV, but I've always, as a kid, think, you know what, one day it'd be cool just to be featured in something, whether it's a documentary, and maybe subconsciously is one of the reasons why I wanted to start a podcast, because I've been gravitated towards it.
If I'd known what the statistics were when I went into the business, I would never have done it, because it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
95% of all the actors in the world are unemployed. You know, some people do crack it and some people do make a good living out of it, but you know, there's a handful. If you turn the TV on, there's a handful of actors that you always see popping up. You know, occasionally you get new people coming through.
Yeah.
But you know, it is like doing the lottery. You go and do the lottery, it could be you.
So, I mean, I reached out to you. You kindly said, yeah, you give me some of your time. I wanted to, firstly, to explain what my podcast is about. It's just about my ongoing study on business people, people who are TV personalities, people that have come through maybe adversity, people that are just strong-minded, got a vision, and I think you fit that bill. So for the people that maybe don't know you so well, what is your background? How did you start? You know, where did you come from?
Well, originally, I was conceived in Brixton.
I'm actually from Tulse Hill. I'm a South London boy.
Yeah, myself. And then I sort of moved around, and we ended up kind of Putney and then Kingston, and then moving out of London. But my background was, you know, my mum sort of worked in a scaffold company. My dad worked at Tesco's. Completely normal life upbringing. You know, council house, nothing flash. I think when you're brought up in that environment, you have sort of two choices really. You can either just accept it and say, I'm going to be in this environment forever. Yeah. Or actually, I don't really want to be in this environment. I want to do something and, you know, have other stuff. Because when I lived in Camberley, when I was probably around sort of 13 years of age, but I'd actually be walking around and because I couldn't afford the bus. And then when I used to walk down the A30 in Camberley, and then there'd be this estate where there's all these big houses. So I walk along there and look in these houses, and most people would go, look at those fucking rich people in them fucking houses. Why haven't I got that? Yeah. But I was actually thinking, I want one of these houses. I'd love to fucking live in. You know, it was that thing where I'd never really had that. In England, there's a lot of this fucking negativity, you know, people don't like people doing well, and everybody thinks everybody should do badly and everybody should have the same. It's all bollocks, right? You know, anybody can achieve anything if they put their mind to it. And, you know, and I think you have to be positive. If you walk around going, I haven't got any money, I weigh too much, I can't get fit, I haven't got any money, I haven't got a good job, I haven't got this, I haven't got that, you talk yourself into, you know, a shit place. And I think when I was on the estate, before I actually really got into being, because I'm quite a spiritual person, but before I actually got into that side of it, and I sort of got into understanding what life was about, I was actually doing positive stuff. So I was saying, I want that house, I want that car, I don't want to be on this, I don't live in a car, I want to own a house, I want to, like affirmations. You know, I want to actually do something good with my life. I don't just want to be on the estate moaning about, I haven't got this, I haven't got that, I can't have this, I can't have that, this is my life, poor me, you know. So I think just because I had that mindset, nobody gave me that mindset. It just happened to, I just happened to have that. And then having looked at my journey and what I've done from, you know, leaving school with no qualifications to getting a job at Alders, wrapping up TVs and videos on £60 a week, and then starting to sell stuff. Went on a couple of sales courses. I was a star salesman in the whole shop. Wow. Was earning more than the manager. And then one day, somebody walked in, bought some stuff at Christmas. How much do you earn a week? £60 plus commission. Have you got a driving licence? And I think I was 17 and a half. I just passed my test. Yeah. Do you want to come and work for me? I said, what do you do? He said, I've got a scaffolding company. And it was a big scaffolding company. It wasn't a tiny thing. It was a big PLC. But he said, I'm the CEO, whatever. And, you know, I'll give you, you can be a sales rep. Yeah. And I said, what's the deal? And he said, I'll give you 10 grand a year. I'll give you a company car. What car? So we start negotiating the car. Mobile phone plus commission. So I thought, wow, you know, when can I start? Now, you know, I didn't ever wake up and say, when I leave school, I want to be a salesman. But I got into that I suppose by luck, and then found something that I was relatively good at, that I improved with on time, and then got that job. Everything went well for 2 years, got headhunted, went to another firm, and then I think it was 88, 89, the property crashed. Nobody wanted scaffolding. Nobody had any money, so our interest rate, because we'd actually bought a house then,
went up to 14%.
I think it was 16 or 17.
Crazy.
It was ridiculous. So your payments, £1,000 a month, and now they're £3,000 a month, right? So it's not sustainable. So I lost my job, lost the house, I'm back in the council flat again, thinking, wow, I've gone full circle now, and I was on the dole, and most people at that point would probably go, fucking hell, I'm gonna go and throw myself under a bus, because it was like everything was going really well, and then you just
two different worlds, like flying, and then suddenly
it's like I'm back to square one. I've been brought back down to earth again, but again, didn't give up. And then somebody sort of said to me, why don't you come to one of these raves? And I at the time I was boxing, I was running half marathons, and I was completely and utterly the wrong profile to go raving, because I wasn't into drugs. I didn't like drugs. It was just, I don't know. And just went into this, it took him about 10 attempts to get me to go to this rave. But back in the day, and anybody, I'm 48, but anybody who's my age will remember this, or older, if you went to a nightclub, it was sticky carpets, there's one DJ on, they'd play sort of slow music, and you'd sort of try and get a girl to dance with you for a little bit, and then you try and get her out the club, and then buy her a kebab, and then take her home, or you'd have a fight outside. So it was sort of kebab. If you had a fight, kebab, and you got drunk, you'd had a fantastic night. But it was sort of one of those things. So that was the environment I was used to being in. So going from that environment to going into a warehouse with 3,000 people, all jumping around, everyone's smiling, there's no trouble, right? And there's women coming up to you saying, hello, come and have a dance with me, how you doing, do you want a massage and all this? And you're just like, wow, this is, it's literally, you just feel like it's awakening. And I just thought at the time, wow, this is unbelievable. And I just thought, I need to get, I want to go out every night. And it was £25 to get in. So obviously I didn't have the money to do that. And I was walking out of the rave.
And what year was this, roughly?
This was probably 89, 1990. So I walked out of this rave, just walked out, and someone's giving flyers out. Pick up the flyer, look on the back, and they used to have these names of people selling tickets. So I looked at it and I thought, well, there's no one selling tickets where I live, Surrey. And I just thought, they're missing a trick here, because I know a lot of people, right? So I literally went around, got all the flyers, there's about 20 people giving flyers out, got all the flyers, went home, I'm looking at all the flyers, and I started ringing them up, saying, right, you haven't got a ticket tap for Surrey, let me see your tickets. And they're like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
I said, don't matter who I am, but I will sell your tickets. I know a lot of people, if you put my number on the back of the flyers, I'll sell you tickets. So straight away they're a little bit, because obviously if you've got 50 tickets at £20, it's a lot of money. You can run off with the money. But you used to have a handling fee of 10-15%. And I thought, well, if I sold a couple of 100 tickets a week, £300 a week, it's better than the dole money. But it actually went fucking absolutely mental. Whereas these tickets, people would be buying 500,000, there'd be 20-30,000 people going to these things. And obviously in Surrey's a big place, so you'd have people ringing you up, I want 10 tickets, I want 5 tickets. And you just go, right, meet me. And there used to be a sports shop in Camberley called Four Sports. And I say, meet me outside Four Sports. And there was a big rave in nearby one day. And I remember driving down and the whole car park was just full of people waiting for me. I would literally go out of the car and it looked really dodgy because I was just going like that. I was giving me cash, But I was earning, some weeks £1,000, £2,000 a week at,
Amazing.
19 or whatever. So big money then. And then I thought, actually, these guys that are giving the flyers out outside the raves, I've got a load of mates that want to go raving. So I rang the company up and said, if I bring all my mates to the clubs, will you get them in for free? If they give out flyers. And he went, yeah, sure. And I said, will you pay us as well? He went, yeah, I'll give you £10 a man. So I rang all my mates up and I said, look, you can pay 20 quid to get in, or I can get you VIP. If I get you VIP, you give out the flyers for me. So they went, all right, we'll do that then. So I was doing flyers and tickets, and that made me a lot of money in a short space of time. And then I just thought, wow, nobody's done a magazine. So then from that, I did a magazine.
Yeah.
So I had all this stuff, but it all just come out of nowhere. And then one day somebody said to me, you know, you're doing all this stuff, you should put a rave on. And then I went, good idea. So I come up with a name.
And you thought, sod it, let's do it.
Borrowed some money and put a rave on. And then it was a success. And, you know, then I did another, I had about 5 brands all around the world, 20 events a month. You know, biggest club promoter in the world of what I did. So it was all urban music, so it was drum and bass, garage.
Wow.
How
many people was working for you at that time?
There was me and my mum and 2 guys, that was it. Because the good thing was, you did the flyer, so you had people giving out flyers, you put the flyers in the record shops, you had the radio station advertising, but then you had a database. So if you come to my rave, you'd write down your name and address to go on the mailing list, and then I'd have 10,000 people I can write letters to and go, I'm doing a rave, do you want to come? And you go, yeah, I'll buy the tickets. Or you'll go, I really want to go, I'm not sure if I can go. And then at the last minute, you know, you have to buy the tickets from us at a certain period of time. And then if you don't buy it within that period of time, then you have to buy them in the ticket outlet, and then they're obviously more money. So we used to sell, you know, a few hundred tickets up front. And then, you know, we regularly sell out Brixton Academy, GMX in Manchester, Wembley Arena, big, you know, IB for an app. We was running everything. That really was sort of a mad journey, and then I did that for 10 years. So when I actually started promoting in '93, I went all the way through to 2003.
Yeah.
And then sold it, and then again, didn't know where I was going to go, and then got into the acting game. Then I got into making movies, and I'm here today.
Yeah.
So it's just, you know, mad how, if you look back over my life, but I think it all stems from having that positive outlook.
Yeah.
And, you know, if I wasn't walking around saying I want to buy a house, I want to have the good stuff, I want to be successful, I don't want to be here, I want to be there. I think if you subconsciously put that out, I think that's what when people say, oh, he's lucky, there's nothing lucky about it, right? It's because you're working hard and you're putting it out there. And if you're putting it out there and you're working hard, then you get stuff.
I think, you know what it is, I like you could probably educate me a bit more on this, but this is my interpretation of it. Right. I'm similar to you. I didn't come out of school with lots of GCSEs. In actual fact, very recently, I just admitted this yesterday, I was diagnosed on the weekend with dyslexia. Didn't even know, ADHD.
I probably got that as well.
From a doctor, I didn't know all this time. So I come out of school with no GCSEs and stuff. And anyway, I found myself into sales as well. Right. Got a sales company now, got Woodbury House and stuff. And I had to become resourceful and find a way to generate money, and I found sales was a good platform for me. But I've always been like you, which is I want to achieve more out of life, not because where I've come from is bad, it's just that I want more. And I've never got worried about the process. I thought, right, I want that, and doesn't matter how outrageous that seems, and doesn't matter how far in the future that may be, I'm going to get there somehow. I think too many people try and work out too much how they're going to get there, and they're afraid of putting a big goal out there and a big vision because they're too afraid of the hard work, how they're going to get there, the adversity. And what you just said, it doesn't matter. You just put something out there, put the good thoughts out there, allow the subconscious mind to think about it continuously, and work fucking hard and be very, very positive in order to get there.
I mean, nobody learns anything about success. Nobody learns anything from success. If you're successful, you think, okay, I'm the bollocks. You don't go, you just, everything's great, everything's a bed of roses. But when you fall over, there's a great quote actually in one of the Rocky films where Rocky says, it's not about how many times you get knocked down, it's how many times you get up, right?
So true.
And you know, his story, great story, jobbing actor, on his ass, no money, wrote Rocky. And
had to sell his dog.
Pitched it around, pitching that around for years. Everyone's going, love a script, you know, let's do a deal. Yeah, but I'm playing Rocky. No, you're not.
Yeah.
You're not a fucking actor. You know, you pop up and say one line on a TV show, you're not going to play a lead in the movie. And it went on for years, and there was a point when they offered him $5 million, which is probably, I don't know, $10 million today, $20 million today, or it might have been $1 million, I can't remember the exact amounts, but it was a lot of money. It was life-changing. He could have just put his feet up and retired. And he went, great, but I'm playing Rocky. And they said, you're not fucking playing Rocky. So he went, right, fuck you then. Stick your man up your ass. And then somebody went, look, let's let him fucking play Rocky. And then he won the Oscar, and then the rest is history, right? But most normal people in that position would go, fucking hell, I'm living in a bedsit,
yeah,
got no money, I'm eating fucking beans out.
He had to sell his dog, you know.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so the Tony Robbins, you know who Tony Robbins is? He speaks about the same story. He speaks about sold his dog in order to survive, and also when he was trying to get the role, they kept on saying to him, but you can't pronounce words properly. You've got this really weird like tone and, you know, you slur.
He sounds punchy, but that's perfect.
Yeah, but it's perfect. So he's turned like a negative into a positive, and the story goes, when he made it in Rocky, he bought his dog back for like $20,000 because he loved the dog so much.
We had the dog in the movie, didn't he?
Yeah,
they
did.
Dog, you know.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of things, a lot of him went into that script about, you know, a lot of things that he was learning and thinking about. And, you know, I think the big problem with people today is, I think that, I don't know if it's the internet, I don't know if it's just kids, but I think people think there's a shortcut, there's a fast way of getting from A to B, because I think where everything is so accessible now, people actually think, well, I press the button and I can have it, I press this and I do this and I want it now and I want it now. And if you speak to any kids, they say, I want to be an actor, I want to be famous, I want to be rich, I want to be a reality star, I want to be on Love Island, I want to be on the X Factor. Nobody actually says, oh, well, actually, how am I going to get there? They just say, I want to be on that. And they think that if they get on that, it's going to change their life. But the thing is, I watched the Elton John movie on Monday at the premiere in London. And when you see what he went through, you know, you look at that and you kind of go, well, he deserves to be an amazing music star, rock star, whatever you want to call him, because, you know, the work he put in, and people don't appreciate how much work you have to put in.
Yeah.
Nobody gives you anything. And when you fall over, you have to keep getting up. And then most people, when they fall over, they go, fuck this, I'm going to get a job.
Yeah.
Because it's easy.
Yeah.
You can just sit there and just be on the payroll. You know what you get every month.
Yeah.
You know, you can just get by. But I think people, you have to take a risk. You have to dedicate your life to stuff. And I think if you're willing to do that, you can achieve anything.
I think what I love, there's, you know what, like, obviously I've met you, I think once or twice before in the Arts Club through Ruben Tabares, who's been on my podcast before, and but I didn't realise a couple of similarities between me and you. One, we're both from South London. Right. My mum and dad from South London.
Apparently all the best people come from.
Yeah.
That's what I've heard.
My dad went to William Penn, don't know if you know it, was in Dulwich. He's from East Dulwich, my mum's from Brixton. Right. And what I'm trying to get at is, in that era, and maybe South London, but more so the era, I would say, is they're tough people. They're very, very tough. Yeah. And I feel like today there's a lot of people that are just so, not everyone, because it would be completely wrong for me to say that, but soft. Like when something happens, they moan or they want to diagnose something with this illness or that thing. And sometimes people are missing that grit, you know, to think, you know what, I've been knocked on my backside, I now need to get up, I now need to pursue my goal. It doesn't matter what anyone says about me, I'm going to go and pursue it. And we were talking about someone earlier, I'm not going to go so much into it, but Alfie Best, someone I really admire, he's a traveller, and he's turned his life, I mean, he is multi successful serial entrepreneur, and he's taken his business now to America. Right. And who would think a guy who lived in a caravan at an early age is now built up a mass fortune of 300-400 million, helicopters and stuff. So even he proves that it doesn't matter what your background is, you can pretty much do anything you want.
I think the difference is, I mean, we're the same age, right? And he's a lot more successful than me. But I'm pleased for him. And the thing is, I always wish people well. And it doesn't matter, you know, I've never ever, as I said earlier, and I think people need to wish people well. And I think when you actually look at a lot of the I think they're called the millennials, right? You know, they want to be offended, right? They have this kind of twisted version of the world where people are saying, you know, this is really important. This is really important. And you kind of go, well, it isn't. It's all bullshit, right? You know, I don't think that 4-year-olds and 5-year-olds at school need to be given lessons about diversity. I don't think people need to be told you could be a boy or you could be a girl. I think if, you know, when I was at school, everybody had the piss taken out of them. Whether you were fat, whether you were white, whether you were black, whatever you were, you had the piss taken out of you, right?
Yeah.
And as you grew up, you were used to people digging you out, giving you a bit of grief, you know, and it did make you resilient.
It's healthy.
Right? But now it's sort of like, you mustn't say this, you mustn't say that, you must be nice to these people. And you could be a woman trapped in a man's body, and you kind of go, what? One of my friends the other day said to me that at his school, and he's got a young daughter, and it's a mixed school, that they're now doing these toilets which are just for all genders, and you kind of go, as a man, I don't want to go into a toilet, and if I want to go into the toilet and actually use a cubicle, I don't really want to walk out and there's a girl doing her makeup. Do you know what I mean? It's not really a good look, and I'm sure if she's going in there, she doesn't really want to go in the cubicle after we've been in there, right? Yeah. And I don't actually understand why anybody thinks that's a good idea. And I just think that if people have these feelings where they say, actually, I think I'm born in the wrong body, that's fantastic, we'll encourage it. But I actually think if you say to a 4 or 5 year old, you could be a boy or a girl, right? If someone told me when I was 4 I could dress up as a girl, I'd have come to school in a dress, because it's fun, right? Yeah. But then that could actually fuck me up, because then I start thinking, well, maybe I'm a girl. And it's confusing, definitely. Look, I've got friends that have had the operation, and one of my friends was a football referee who had an operation, decided he wanted to be a woman, and he's Britain's first transgender referee, right? Fantastic. I think, but he did that when he was older, right? He realised, when he got to a certain age that actually I am in the wrong body, and he actually made that decision. But what I don't like about the way this country's going is that everybody seems to want to be offended by everything, and everybody's being force-fed this stuff, the Extinction Rebellion stuff, let's all lay in the road and shut down London to protect the environment, and it actually harmed the environment. It didn't actually, all it did was annoy everybody. Nobody actually went, okay, I'm gonna help now. And what they need to be doing is sending that message out around the world. They need to say to everybody, guys, look, we've got a problem here with climate change, but if everybody in the world does what we say, then we'll be all right. But if England are just saying, well, we're going to do it, and everyone else is going, well, we're not. I mean, China's a massive place, India's a massive place, Russia's like, if they're all just saying, well, we're not doing it, what difference are we going to make? Yeah. So, I think laying in the road and doing yoga and closing London down for a week, and gluing yourself to trains and stuff, that to me doesn't make any sense. And there's people who actually think it's helping. Yeah. It's crazy. And it's like the world's gone mad. It's like the world's gone mad. I totally hear that. I wanted to talk about some of your films, but before I do, I remember hearing a quote from, I think it was Tom Cruise, and he said that if you want to find a great actor, find a great salesperson. Because sales and acting, there's a bit of a bridge between them. So before we talk about the acting, I want to talk about sales, because I didn't know you was in sales. Right. How important do you think it is for a lot of people to learn how to sell, even to a little bit? But so I've got 4 children, right? I've got 2 girls and I've got 2 boys. Mm-hmm. And the eldest one's 24, 15, 11 and 4, right? And they're all completely different people. But what I've said to them all, do drama. And when I was at school, you didn't do drama. It wasn't cool. It was all the sort of weirdos or the people that nobody liked that did drama. It wasn't the sort of thing that the boys did. Yeah. And that's why I didn't do it. I poo-pooed it off. And I wish somebody said to me, do it, because what it taught me when I started doing it was you have to stand up in front of a crowd and you have to perform. And you can't go, oh no, I can't speak because I'm shy. And you have to look someone in the eye and have a conversation with them. Because if we're doing a scene together, I can't be going, oh yeah, but I've got to look you in the eyes, right? So we've got to have a relationship. And I think that drama and sales, you just can't, look, you can be the brightest person on the planet, you can have degrees, you can have A-levels, you can have GCSEs, you can be a genius. But if you can't speak to people, look them in the eye and be normal, so what? You're just a geek sitting in the corner talking about, your theories about, and everyone's just like, what weirdo, Whereas if you can engage with people, and I think public speaking, debating, I think anything which gets you to do that. And I've always encouraged all my kids: if there's first speaking, do it. If there's a drama group, do it. If there's a play, do it. If there's, just keep doing stuff, because interacting with people is a dying art. Everybody's on phones and social media, and emails. It's just. I mean, I won't tell you this person's name, but there's someone who's I'm in business with, and he recently got divorced, And he said to me, I'm 42 years of age. He said, I've been with my wife for 20 years. He said, now I've got to go back on the dating scene. He said, I don't even know what to say to a woman, right? And someone said to him, have a look at this Bumble app, right? So he's got on this Bumble app, and
Chris knows all about
couple of weeks ago, couple of weeks later after I've seen him, he's gone to me, he's gone, fucking hell, he goes, Bumble's changed my life. And I said, what's that? What do you mean? He said, well, you don't have to do anything. He said, the girls, if they're interested, they contact you. He goes, look at this, and he's showing me all these girls.
What a
and I'm going, what do I want to speak to you for?
Yeah.
But he said to me, he said it is just mad now, because he said that the old days you'd have to go to a bar, go to a restaurant, go to a dinner party, say to your mates, I'm single, have you got any mates? You know, you'd have to kind of work it a little bit. Now, you just go bang and then you're in. You don't even have to do anything. So he said to me that, you know, but I think he had a few years of Bumble dates. Right. And now he's found love and he's talking about getting married again. So good luck to him. But
settle down.
But I think things like that, you know, and I think that's why a lot of these sort of bars and clubs are closing down, because, you know, you used to go to the pub. You know, you go to a club. Now people are like, what do I go to a club for?
Yeah.
Just go and, you know, press the button.
Yeah.
And I think, but again, I think the less people interact, the more sort of people go inside themselves. And I think what you were saying earlier is...
They become introvert, don't they? Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people becoming introverted. I think there's a lot of people that are mistaking being academic with, you know, that if I'm academic, I'm going to be all right in life. And I think that's the wrong message. I think you have to be an all-rounder.
Yeah.
And then they're also concerned themselves with all these issues. I mean, there was a thing recently, my daughter likes Peppa Pig, right? We didn't go to this thing, but there was a show where they did a Peppa Pig show, and somebody turned up there and they complained because they said that they thought it was bad that they were selling ham sandwiches afterwards. And it's just like, what are you talking about? You know, I've had ham sandwiches since I was a kid. I've had, you know, I'm not going to eat a ham sandwich and think, oh my God, Pepper. You know, and there's some sort of, so the fact that somebody that you sat there and had that thought process, you think, what's fucking wrong with you?
It's just making everyone a bit too soft. And
but they're soft, and it's like they wake up to be offended. It's like, if it's not, you know, if you say anything, and it can be about anything, right? You're either racist or you're transgendering or misgendering. Sorry, transgendering. You're misgendering. You're racist. You're right wing. You're this. You're that. You know, and it's just like nobody wants to say anything now, because if you say your opinion, people say, well, you're this and you're that, and it's like, well, how can you even judge that? Yeah, there's all this stuff at the moment with Brexit where people are sort of saying, you know, Theresa May should do this and she's rubbish. But the bottom line is, a lot of people don't actually know what the process is. And the process is, Europe's there, Theresa May's there. She's going to Europe saying, we want to have a deal. And they're saying, there is no deal, right? You either stay in Europe or you crash out with no deal. She goes, well, we've got to have something, right? So they go, okay, well, you tell us what you want, and then we'll discuss it. She's gone, we want this, want that. They've gone, no, right? So she keeps coming back saying, they're giving us a worse deal. And then everyone's going, well, we don't want a worse deal. And it's like, well, let's go out, let's crash out then. No, we're not crashing out. So everybody's getting frustrated with her, but it's not her fault.
Yeah.
It's Europe's fault. And the thing is, look, if 17.8 million people, or however many it was, said they want to leave, if you were a member of parliament, you would actually go, do you know what, I wouldn't have given them the vote, right? Because why would you give the people the vote? If it's going to cause this much aggravation and, you know, arguing and people getting at each other's throats, why give them the vote? Just you make a decision. Yeah. And if we stay in, we stay in. No one's going to go, well, why didn't we leave? People just go, well, we're in Europe. But now we've got that choice, people are starting to say, well, let's leave because it's a good idea. But it might, whether it is or whether it isn't a good idea, who knows, right? But that's why, and I'll make this prediction now, right, and see if I'm right. I called Brexit and I called Trump winning, right? And everyone said I was fucking mad, right? So I reckon Farage will clean up at the European elections. And it's not because he's an amazing politician, it's not because what he's saying is right, but I just think that people are sick of the Tories, the Labour Party, all these people just saying, we're trying to get a deal and we're going to do what we want. And then the other people are going, well, actually, we're not really going to do what you want, we're going to do what we want. And that's why I think, and then obviously the good thing is, it means that he can go and annoy Junker and all them people on a daily basis, which will make me very happy. But on the other side, I think maybe, the Tories will actually wake up. Because all someone's got to say is, if I was the Prime Minister, I would just say to the country, say, look, I've gone to Europe and they don't want us to leave, right? And they're not going to give us a deal. Because if they give us a deal, then everybody, the French, the Italians, are all going to go, we'll have that deal.
Yeah.
Right? So they're not going to do it. So we're not going to get the deal, right? So just so you know, I can go back there and I can talk to them a million times, we're not going to give us a deal. So the options are, we stay as we are, we sign a worse deal, or we leave with no deal. What do you want to do? That's worth putting out for a second referendum. Yeah. Because then people can jump in it.
Yeah, a bit more clean cut that way.
But the thing is,
it's all politics, and they talk.
It's all about fake news, like Trump says, fake news, because it is all fake news.
And they got to sugarcoat stuff, and they got a different hidden agenda and stuff like that.
I thought the best one was when the Leave campaign won. People were sort of doorstopping Boris Johnson and Farage and all these people and saying, "Oh, when is the NHS going to get the 350 million?" I didn't say that. But it's that they have got a short memory, these people.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen. But I think I just hope Jeremy Corbyn doesn't get in.
Let's just wait and see, eh? So your film career. So you obviously you come out the party scene almost. You sold up, and then you got into films. I know you best from The Rise of the Foot Soldier, but there's obviously plenty of other films that you've been in. So just for some of the viewers, which ones have you been in?
Well, if you go onto IMDb and type my name in, I've actually produced 26 movies, and I've been in 29 TV shows and films and stuff. So I've done quite
you was in EastEnders as well, was you? Yeah.
EastEnders, a Bill. Yeah, I've done all this sort of job and actor stuff. My family and things like that. But to be honest, film is where my heart's always been. But I've actually now started to look more to the TV, because I think what's happening in the TV world, and with all these platforms and everything going digital, I think the actual best stuff is it's on TV, it's on Netflix, it's on Amazon. It's all the best stuff.
Yeah. I had Tim Lovejoy on my podcast in this very room about a month ago, and because TV's never been, I've never been on TV, but I've always as a kid think, one day it'd be cool just to be featured in something, whether it's a documentary, and maybe subconsciously is one of the reasons why I wanted to start a podcast, because I've been gravitated towards it. And I think if you use it in the right way, it could be a great platform to go into other things. You can network with people, you can start up other businesses, you just get to meet such a great loads of different people, and I think it's important. What is the kind of how would you say to anyone a bit of advice how they could get onto TV or into films or into acting?
Do you know what's really funny? If I'd known what the statistics were when I went into the business, I would never have done it, because it doesn't make any sense. 95% of all the actors in the world are unemployed. So if someone says to you, there's 95% of the whole population of the world that are actors sitting on the dole, working in a driving a taxi, waiting on the table. That's the reality of being an actor. And some people do crack it, and some people do make a good living out of it. But there's a handful. If you turn the TV on, there's a handful of actors that you always see popping up. Occasionally you get new people coming through. But it is like doing the lottery. You go and do the lottery, it could be you, right? But it probably won't be. For me, I just do it because I enjoy it. I'm creative. I like creating content. I like meeting interesting people. I like telling stories. So that's what really led me into that world. But
because you've got a new film coming out with Alfie Best's son, Alfie Best Jr.
It's out. Once Upon a Time in London. So,
wicked. What's that about?
It's about what happened after Peaky Blinders, but before Legends. So there's the craze. So you've got the craze, the Peaky Blinders, and there's 3 decades of stuff that happened in London in between. So we just thought no one's ever covered that story. So we should do that.
And what part do you play in Alfie Best?
I play Jack Comer, who's Jack Spot, they used to call him. And Alfie played the character called Electric Alfie.
Okay. Is it one of the main parts?
What, for me or for him?
Well, both.
Well, I've got one of the main parts, the second lead, and he has a role, which is a good role, but it's not a lead, because he was his first film,
Yeah.
But he's done an amazing job, he done really well, and I think if he wanted to become an actor, I think he could do it quite easily.
Really?
Yeah.
That's quite good. Yeah. I mean, so if he hasn't had a background in doing acting and stuff, How would you just jump into a film like that, though?
Do you know what? I think he wanted to do it, and he learnt his lines. I think he had some acting lessons, and he just committed to it, 100%. And I think that's... And look, the role he played and the stuff that happened in the film is probably... There's been things like that's happened in his life that he's seen or experienced or heard about or watched. So, when someone says to you, look, we're going to do this scene, if you said to him, can you put on a dress and start doing ballet, right? He might struggle with that, right? Yeah. But if you're saying, look, you're playing essentially yourself, right? You're going to wear a suit and you might not go around killing people. In this film, you are going to try and kill someone. But then, something's going to happen where the gun's not going to go off and then you're going to get fucking beaten up badly, right? And, you've just got to basically convince us that you're being beaten up and hurt.
Yeah.
Right? So for him, it's not an easy thing to do because you have to get in that right place where you're screaming and all that. And, you have to, commit 100% to it. But he did. And he got it absolutely bang on. And the director actually said to me, I said, I don't know where you found him, but he's fucking brilliant. Yeah. I was like, well, he said he wanted to do it. And everyone says, I'd love to be in a film, I'd love to do this. Oh, I'd like to be a millionaire. Everyone says this stuff. But he actually said it, but he wanted to do it and he committed to it. And
proper committed.
I think, as I said, going back to what we were saying earlier, I think if you commit to something and you give it 100%, I mean, he could have done it and he could have been terrible in it.
Yeah.
Right? So what? He'd see it and go, knowing him, he'd see it and go, right, okay, how can I make that better? How can I get it right next time?
Yeah.
And then he'd learn, right? But he got it right first time. But if he'd got it wrong, he isn't the sort of person who go, I'm not doing that again. He'd go, actually, I want to get it right now. And it'll make him more hungry.
Yeah.
And that's like me, when I first started off, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know anything about acting, but I wanted to do it. So I went to school, I learned about acting, I did courses, I did coaching, I did auditions, I did everything, because I wanted to learn about it.
Yeah.
And I'm still learning now.
Yeah.
And it's my 16th year in the business, and I'm still learning now.
Nice.
And everyone I know in any business or any profession, nobody can ever say, right, I'm done now, I know everything. There's always something you learn. And if you ever get to that point where you think you know everything, then you don't.
Yeah.
So I think you always have to be open to stuff. And when I'm always open to people. People say to me, oh, have you thought about this? Or what about this? Or what about that? Sometimes you just think, clueless.
Have you ever had to play a role? I was going to say this, like where you feel a little bit out of character, out of your depth, but you learn a lot more stuff about yourself, basically, because you can become versatile in that role.
I think the weird thing about acting is when you actually learn a part and you act a part and you play a part and you interact with other actors and then things happen that make you think about things or react differently. I think when you go through that process,
right,
you kind of find the character. So but if you look at Taron Egerton playing Elton John, you have people coming out saying he's heterosexual, he shouldn't have played that part. Only a homosexual actor should play Elton John. And you sort of go, well, acting is about pretending to be something you're not, right? And when I watched that film, if someone had said to me, he's gay, I'd have believed him.
Yeah.
100%. I wouldn't have gone, he's not gay, he's heterosexual. So for me, he pulled it off and he did an amazing job. That kid's going to win an Oscar, I think, for that performance.
Yeah.
And then, in our business, and it's kind of how the world is now, when you cast roles now, people are saying, you could, in the old days, you could have somebody changing their appearance to look Indian or black or, you could cast somebody from the Middle East, right, and say they were Indian, right, because they had the right skin colour. But now Indians are getting offended, saying, well, actually you can't do that because you should have an Indian play this part. Why are you getting a Saudi Arabian or someone from Dubai playing this? This isn't right. And you're getting this whole thing where if you're gay you should play the gay parts, if you're a big guy you should play the big parts, and what they're trying to do is put everybody in this box. And the thing is, I don't think it's healthy. I think people, if you play something you're not, I think you do experience what it's like to be a king or a queen or gay or straight or whatever it is you're doing, or a serial killer or a gangster. And I think it's fun. That's why I think a lot of people go into acting, because they want to play these parts. They want to be King Lear. They want to be, some lunatic fucking chopping people's heads off and not really doing it, but they are doing it on screen. Yeah. So I think a lot of but I think I don't know what's going to happen with their business, because if it gets to that point where they say, well, you can't have anybody playing a Cockney unless they're a Cockney, it's great for the Cockney actors because they're going to get loads of work.
Yeah, they're going to love it.
I think if you look at someone like Damien Lewis, when he's in that show Homeland, and he's in anything, and he does an accent, you go, believe him.
Yeah, he's great in Billions.
Look at Idris Elba.
Yeah.
Right, he went to America and he got that part in The Wire. They didn't even know he was a Brit.
Yeah.
They thought he was a Yank. But if he'd have gone in there and spoke like a Brit, he probably wouldn't have got the part.
Yeah. He was great in American Gangster.
Yeah.
Yeah, really good.
But that was an amazing movie.
Yeah, amazing.
No, there's some great. I think there's some great stuff out there, and I think it's a good business. And I think, as I said, when someone says I want to be an actor, people do say to me, "Give me your advice." If I was starting off, you've done it. How do I do it? And it's sort of like, look, I had years, right? When I do a film, I work for 6 months. I'd have a year where I didn't earn any money, right? And I had to do other things to make money. So if you think by going to drama school, look, you could come out and you could be picked up and put in the Kingsman, or Disney might come knocking on your door and say, will you play the Lion King? Right? Yeah. But the reality is that probably won't happen. So you have to go into it with your eyes open and say, if I go through all this training and I get an agent and I don't work and I don't crack it when I leave drama school, am I going to be happy waiting on the table? Am I going to be happy cleaning the toilet? Am I going to be happy driving a taxi or an Uber? Am I going to be happy? And if the answer is yes, fantastic. But I know a lot of actors who've gone through that process. They've done acting all through their school. They've done all the Lambda pieces. They've been in the school play. They've joined the Stagecoach group or Sylvia Young. They've come out. They've got an agent, or they've gone to drama school for 3 years. They've got a degree, and they've given it 2 or 3 years. They've done an advert, a bit in EastEnders, a bit in a TV drama, and then they've just given it up and walked away. And you just think, what a waste of time. Why did you waste all your time doing that? So, I think a lot of people don't get told up front, this is what the business is. In America, it's different. There is a business in America. Hollywood's, Bollywood and Hollywood are booming.
Yeah, I've been to LA a few times, and even like with I've literally been in restaurants or hotels getting served food, and a lot of them are actors. Yeah. And they're just saying, we're here, we're immersing ourselves in the environment. Okay, granted, I've got to make some money like this at the moment, but I'm going to stay committed until I make it. And I think that's the right attitude.
Yeah. But that's what people don't probably. They're not aware of that. They don't
appreciate it.
And because they've led this sort of pampered, I'm an actor, sort of life. They haven't got the resilience to sort of go.
Yeah.
Because when I got into it, I went to the Actors Centre in Covent Garden.
Right.
I was sitting around with these actors, and we were chatting, and I actually said to them, I've only done a couple of jobs this year, this is shit business. I actually said that, right? And they went, you've had a couple of jobs this year, we haven't worked for 2 years. And I was like, well, how do you fucking live?
Yeah.
Right? And it was like, well, we've got this room, and we all got these like pull-out beds, and we all sleep in this room, and we all take it in terms of clean, and we eat beans and pot noodles every night, and we don't really go out, and he does the cleaning job, I drive a car, he does
whatever, yeah,
some door work, or some sales work. A lot of them do the telesales stuff, and you just think, wow, that is living the dream, and that is the reality. And even when you hear about these big stars, when they went to LA to try and crack it, sleeping in the car. They didn't stay in a hotel.
Yeah.
They didn't have a house, or they were just sleeping in a car for fucking 3 months until they just knew they were going to make it.
Yeah.
Or they thought they were going to make it, and because they were being positive and put it out there, they got an audition, and
Yeah.
And so I think it all goes back to that thing. I think you have to have the mindset where I'm doing this, and if I have to do some shit jobs, or I have to starve for a little while until I get there. I think the funniest actor story I heard, when I was on EastEnders, I met Jim Brown, who plays Dot, And I was chatting to her, and she's a lovely woman. I mean, bright as a button, you know. I think she was about 80 when I was in it in 2003, and I think she must be 90 now, right, or 95. Or what. She's quite old, right? Bright as a button. She can just deliver lines and lines and lines of light, no problem. Has a cigarette, you know, hello love. You know, she's a real like funny woman. Where you meet her, you think she's just a legend, right? And she said to me, I said, just have interest, you know. When did you get your big break? She said, when I was 65. Oh. And I said, how long was you acting before that? And she said, when I left school. She said, I left school, went to drama school, did the rep, did a bit of this, a bit of that, was jobbing actor, 40 years.
It's the perseverance.
45 years, whatever it was. And then Eastenders come knocking.
It's staying committed still to that vision or that goal, and without being disgruntled when things don't happen immediately overnight. And what you said earlier is spot on. People see, like, I know the Instagram or the Facebook scenario where Mark Zuckerberg does this social media platform, blows up, and becomes the youngest billionaire ever in history. Well, yeah, it can happen, and there is a chance that if you do dedicate yourself, it can happen almost overnight. But the reality is, most things take 10, 15, 20 years to become that overnight success. And like Dot, she got till 65 before she actually kind of made it.
But her definition of success was being a regular in Eastenders for 30 years.
Yeah.
When if you spoke to somebody else, if you said to Tom Cruise, what's your definition of success? He'd probably say
Hollywood. That's
well, I don't know, because he's done everything. He's a movie actor. He's a movie star. So I'd like that as a question. I'd like to ask him. Yeah. Tom, you know, what's your definition of success? See what he says. Yeah. You know, he might say he might have a number. He might say, actually, I want to be in 200 movies before I quit, or I'd like to do 10 Mission Impossibles, or you know, I'd like to. I don't know. It'd be interesting to hear 10 people who have all got different levels of success. What their definition of success is, because I don't think I think when you talk to people about success, everyone sort of say, I define success as being rich, or I define success as being married, or I define success as having kids. But I think you have to kind of be an all-rounder, because if you've got a lot of money, there's no good being the richest person in the graveyard. You've got to do something good with the money. Of course. And if you've got a family, you want to look after your family. But I don't know. I think I'd actually like. I'm hoping that there is some sort of movement somewhere, which actually basically says, look, guys, because all this stuff where people are having mental health issues, or they're getting upset, or they're getting depressed, or people are committing suicide, and we're hearing about all these terrible things happening in the world. I think a lot of it is driven through people being told this is wrong, or this is right, or you have to live your life this way, or you go on Instagram, you look at people and they're just full of Botox, they've had their lips done, they've had facelifts and all that stuff. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you're 50 years of age and you go, do you know what? I want to make myself look younger, to make myself feel good, right? Fantastic. But when you're 20 years of age, you don't need Botox. No. You don't need to have your lips done. And if you're a guy, you don't need to pump yourself up full of steroids to try and look, you know, hench or whatever it is. And I think that and then people that are on these platforms look at it, and then when they're in the gym and they're eating chicken breast and they're having some salad and they're going, why aren't I looking like it? Yeah. You know, then they start. That's when I think the mental health issues come in. Or when the girls go, why are her lips so nice and mine aren't? Why are my lips so small? Well, because you haven't put a load of jabs in them. You know. Yeah. Why is my bum so? And they want to have big bums now. And all stuff. And
it's always comparing yourself to somebody else.
And the thing is, the only advice that I've ever had in my life that made any sense to me was be yourself. Yeah. Right? Don't worry about anybody else. Don't follow if you think something in your mind, you know, if you don't like somebody or you want to, you know, feel strongly about something, you should be allowed to say it, right? So if you want to stand up and say, I like this, if I don't think what you like is right, that's up to me. But I don't have to now fall out with you because you said something I don't like. Everyone's just things people don't like. Yeah. But that's what I mean about everybody's getting offended now. And the thing is, you know, you get all these people that come out of the woodwork, and you know, now you can go out. If you're in the public eye, someone can come out of the woodwork and say, this guy's done this to me, right? It could be utter bollocks, right? Yeah. And that person's fucked. Their life's erased, you know, without trial. You're getting trolled in the press now. Yeah. So anybody can come out and say anything. I mean, you know, they always say there's no smoke without fire, but there's a history of a lot of these people in the papers where people are wrongly accusing them of stuff, They're making up stories. Look at that guy who said those people in the House of Lords were like killing kids and having sex with them and all this stuff. And he's in court now.
Oh, right.
You know, and he's out of jail, right? But he actually went out saying all these. There was a paedophile ring and there was all this stuff. And then because this guy had made these allegations, there was like, 90-year-old men that were in the House of Lords or they were billionaires or whatever, getting pulled in for questioning. One of them died because he was so upset about it all. And
Jesus.
This idiot is allowed to go out into the papers and make all these false accusations. The papers are printing it all. It's like, well, actually, if these people get arrested and they've done it, print it.
Yeah.
Out them, but to actually just
do it
this guy said it, you just go, okay, well, here's a story, and all the papers run it. So all them people, then everyone goes, oh, they're paedophiles, or they're.
And even if you get acquitted of it, people would still come over to you and go, oh, you're that paedophile. You don't ever get that brand does never go after that.
The funny thing is, you get it all, where somebody's been given it,
Yeah.
and then it turns out that they're innocent. And then you go, I wonder what happened to that guy. And then at the back of the paper, there's a little thing which says, oh, by the way, you got found not guilty. And you kind of go, well, shouldn't you be sort of putting it on the front page? Because isn't that like big news?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think what people have to, if someone actually asked me my advice, I would actually just say to them, be yourself, think what you want. Obviously, you should be able to say what you want, but in reality, you can't, because people will say, well, you've said that and it means you're this or you think this. But I think you just have to be individual, and you can't go through life wondering or worrying that you're not as good as him, or you've got more money than him, or you've got a better looking girlfriend, or a bigger house, or a better car. Who cares?
Yeah.
It's all shit. There was a great thing where somebody was dying of cancer, and they were very wealthy, and they actually said that what this has given me is a nice life, and I can actually pay someone to drive my car. I can pay for a plane to take me away. I can pay for anything I want. But the only thing is I can't pay for someone to take this away. So I've got this, and all this stuff is shit. Whether you've got a £30,000 watch or a £30 watch, it still tells the time.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's that sort of thing. And when I read this thing, and it's such an inspiring piece, and I read it and I just thought, wow,
it's like an epiphany moment.
Everybody worries about all this shit. Oh, he's got this, I've got that, I need to get this. It doesn't make your life any better. And everyone I know who's had nothing and they've gone, when I get to that level, I'll be happy. They get to that level and they go, well, actually, no, I want to get to that level. So you go, so you're not happy then?
Yeah.
Well, no, I am happy, but I want to get.
Yeah.
So no one it really ever gets to. They always think by having this or having that or doing this or doing that, you'll be happy. And
on that note, though, your own goals, you're like you've got so much energy and so much good way about you. So you're in films at the moment, but where do you see yourself in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years?
Well, do you know what? I think I'm in this forever now, right? But I said that when I did the clubs. I thought when I'm promoting, I'm always going to be promoting. When I'm 50, I'll be promoting Raves. So the answer is I don't know, but I don't think I'm even halfway up the ladder on what I'm doing. So for me, as an actor, I'd like to do more lead roles in films. Definitely like to do some big TV stuff. And I think on the producing side, obviously, I like to produce some award-winning films, and I'd like to produce some hit films. Because I think when you create stuff, you're creating something. Whether it's an app, whether it's a suit, whether it's a play, whether it's a show, whether it's if it's a phone, right? The whole point is you're creating something, and you want people to use it, you want people to consume it, you want people to like it. So, as a producer and as an actor, I want people to consume and enjoy what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So that's my goal, really. If I can make a living along the way, and make people laugh and provide for my family, then I'm happy.
Yeah.
But it's difficult to put a number on it, because, as I said, I think when people talk about, where would you like to be in 5 years or 10 years? Obviously everyone would like to be at the top. Everyone likes to be earning £100 million a year. Everyone likes to be a billionaire. But the reality is, you may get there, you may not. But I've always sort of had that thing, aim for the stars. And if you don't actually hit the stars, you actually do it, because you're rich just underneath. So
yeah.
I've always just applied that, and just sort of... and I've got a lot of things, in the last 2 years, I've had a lot of things come to me which I probably wouldn't have had unless I was open. And I think you just have to be open to it. And when you spot opportunities, you know, you can just go, well, actually, I'm going to see this through. Or actually, do you know what? I can't be bothered. But then what happens is somebody else then takes the opportunity.
Yeah.
So I think you have to, and the thing is, you never know. You could have 10 things presented to you, and you could do all 10 and they could all be failures. Yeah. They could all be a waste of time.
Yeah.
And then you go, fucking hell, I've wasted. But you haven't wasted any time.
Yeah.
Because every time you've done something, you've had an experience, you've met new people, you've learned stuff. You've learned maybe how not to do things.
Yeah.
So I think as long as you have that mindset where you're always learning, then I think if you do get knocked down, you can live with it.
Yeah. So obviously the main thing that you're doing is obviously films producing and stuff, and it seems like it's consuming a lot of your time. But outside of that, anything else that you do? You got a family? Do you have any hobbies? What else investment portfolio? Do you do anything like that?
No, to be honest, I think when you've got a business and when you've got when you're creating content, you have to kind of. I spend a lot of time, and I'm always sort of in this. It's like being on a treadmill, you know, non-stop. I'm always doing something. I'm always, if I'm not with my family, I'm doing something. I'm developing something. If I'm not developing, I'm raising some money. And I don't think really I've got time to actually sit down and start saying, okay, what should I invest in? I think when I get to the point where I've achieved everything I want to achieve, and then I can take the foot off the gas, because I think you actually physically have to have a load of money to be able to pump money. You know, if you just go, actually, I want to start investing in stuff, you've got to, I always say you've got to have money to lose, right? Yeah. There's no point investing it and going, I'm going to make money, because the reality is, it doesn't matter what you invest in, there's always a chance you could lose it all.
Of course.
Right? So the only money I want to play with is money I can afford to lose. And the only time that I think I would actually sit down and start saying, oh, what should I invest in, is when I've got time. And at the moment, all my time's consumed in coming up with ideas, creating content, connecting things, producing things, finding new stories. So that's my job, if you like, and it's a 24/7 job. So, you know, I haven't got time to start thinking about that. But I think, you know, obviously, if you speak to any IFA or you speak to any wealth manager, they always say, buy a house, pay the mortgage off. If you can afford to pay into a pension, pay into a pension, do an ISA every year, and have some money, no money, right? And then after that, once you've got all that, then you can start saying, oh, actually, I've got 50 grand here, I'm going to punt it into, I don't know.
Piece of art. Yeah.
Piece of art or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to go on a nice holiday or whatever. Or, you know, but I think people now, everyone I speak to, they're into experiences. Yeah. So I think people more open to experiences now than anything else. Yeah. So I think if you said to someone who's got 50 grand, what do you want to do at 50 grand? They'll probably go, do you know what, I want to have some holidays. Yeah. Or I want to go and, you know, see New York, or I want to skydive out of a plane. Yeah. You know, they don't want to, you know, invest it or be sensible with it. You know, everyone sort of wants the experiences now.
Yeah. So with your, obviously you've got a family as well, so you're balancing family, work and stuff. Do you take them to like different, like your sets? Do you take them around the world and stuff?
I think, I mean, my kids have always come on film sets, and they've always sort of known what I do, and they've seen how it's grown.
I think one of the reasons why I asked that is a bit of a sort of selfish question for me. I had my first ever kid in November, back in the last year, a little boy called Mason. Right. And I'm already started thinking now, he's only, 7 months coming up, I'm thinking, what can I get him into? Right. And I was just wondering if you being an actor and being on film sets, do you bring your kids along and trying to kind of condition them at a young age, or do you let them do what they want to do?
I think it's good for them to see what dad does for a job. But no, I mean, you know, it's up to them. I'm going to guide my kids to do well and be good people, and it's up to them what they do. Because I think people get into this thing where they want to preset what their kid. My son's going to be an engineer, or my son's going to be a politician.
It's too much pressure.
How do you know?
Yeah.
Right, that's what you want. Right. What does your kid want? Your kid might want to be a drug dealer, or he might want to be a fucking geek. He might want to, you know, he might. I mean, you can't. We see it, right? At schools, right? We see kids at schools, and they are getting tutored, swimming lessons, personal trainers. You know, they're getting up at 7 in the morning, going to bed at 10 at night, and you kind of go, what's the point? What are you trying to do?
Yeah.
I want my kid to win the race. Well, so what? Is he gonna be an Olympic? Is he gonna represent England?
Yeah.
No. I just want him to win the race. And it's like, well, if you're going to push your kid that hard, there's got to be an end game, because all that's going to happen is you're going to ruin your kids. So when they're 18 or 21 or whatever, you've tortured them all their lives into they've got to be the best and they've got to be first and they've got to be the brightest and they've got to have this and they've got to have that. And kids this is another reason why I think kids are getting depressed and they're having mental health issues, because I think they can't cope with the pressure, because the parents, I mean, we aren't pushy parents, right? But we want the best for our kids, right? So if we see that one of our children is good at something, we'll encourage them in it. But it doesn't mean that I'm going to be getting up at 6 in the morning to take them swimming in the morning. 7 o'clock, take them to swim baths for another hour. Yeah. And then they go, Dad, I'm hungry, shut up, swim, because you're going to be the best swimmer in the school, because I want to tell everyone you're the best swimmer in the school. Who cares? Yeah. If he's 18 and he goes, I want to be Duncan Goodhue, fantastic. Well, you know what you've got to do. Put the hours in, go and train. Yeah. But for me, I think kids have to have a childhood. They have to have fun, and you have to advise them, and you have to want the best for them, and you want them to do well. But I think you have to have a balanced approach. You can't, and I don't care what anybody says. Right? People can say to me, "You're wrong." Yeah. Well, if it's right for them, fantastic. But when their kids are 21, 22, let's have a conversation then. Yeah. Because I know so many kids. You see about a lot of these kids. Taking drugs, mental health issues, committing suicide. Why? And they're sort of saying, it's Facebook, it's Instagram, but is it? Yeah. It's probably a bit of that, but it's also because the pressure's on them. You've got to do well at school, you've got to do this,
you've got to live up to a certain expectation.
And everybody wants to. It's like a bragging thing. People want to say, my kid's so clever, my kid's so fast, my kid's this, my kid's that, and it's like, look, fantastic, I'm really happy for you, but is your kid happy? And that's the important thing. Yeah. Because you can't live your life for your kids. If my son says to me, I want to be an actor, I'd say, 95% of all the actors in the world are unemployed. What are you going to do when you're not working? And he might go, I don't know. Well, think about it. Yeah. And then when you do it, you know what you're going into. Yeah. I wish somebody had done that to me. Yeah. When you're going to do this is what happens. So. Yeah.
I've only got a couple more questions, because I know you're a very busy man, and I'm grateful for your time. Coming out of school, salesperson, going into your own business, flying in that, now into acting. If someone's coming out of school, and I was like this, I had no fucking clue what I wanted to do. Right. And again, I was a little bit worried, thinking, should I go university? But I don't really want to go there, but I'm going to try and do it, because maybe that's what society tells me I should be doing. I never went in the end. Then I was going to go into Marines, and eventually I found sales, and it was the best, because it's a transferable skill. Every business I've gone into, anytime I'm meeting new people, sales has been at the core of it. Right. Any advice that you would say, someone that's gone through loads of different things, someone doesn't really know what they want to do, and maybe they're now listening to this and thinking, I would like to get into acting at some point, or certainly being in the film industry. What is kind of a bit of advice you can give to anyone?
Well, I think people just have to have a go at it, And if you don't know what you want to do, I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I went and worked at McDonald's. That was my first job. And then I bummed around. I did anything for money. Clean bins.
Do whatever it takes.
I think because the thing is, while you're doing that, you're earning money. While you're earning money, it gives you freedom to think about what you want to do. And I didn't know what I wanted to do. And if you'd have said to me when I was working in orders, what do you want to do? I'd go, well, I don't know. I'm just selling stuff at the moment. And if you'd have come to me and gone, in 5 years you're going to be running clubs around the world, you're going to be making good money, blah, blah. I'd have gone, no, I don't think so. And when I was running the clubs, if you'd have come to me and gone, in 5 years' time you're going to be an actor, I'd be like, what fucking planet are you on? Yeah. So I think if you go out there and you put it out there, you're open. But then I think somebody said something to me that made a lot of sense the other day. They said, you should do things that you're interested in, because then it's not working. Yeah. So if there's something you enjoy, if you like art, start painting art, or sell it. Go and ring up Christie, so I want to learn to sell art. Yeah. If you've got an interest in something, I think if you're interested in social media, try and be a social media star. If you're interested in singing, try and be a singer. If you're interested in playing chess, be a chess champion. I mean, follow what you're interested in. Yeah. Because I think then some things you won't make any money out of in your interest. But I think, that I like films. From when I was 10, I was watching movies. Yeah. TV. When I was born, I was watching. It's probably black and white, but I've always had computer games. I play computer games. I've always had an interest in everything. So I think the more things you're interested in, and I think you just have to be open to stuff.
Yeah.
So if someone says to you, do this, people now won't do jobs because they think it's beneath them.
Yeah.
I worked at McDonald's. I was picking up fucking litter. I had a jacket on with litter patrol, and people would spit at me and throw things at me. And I was 16, walking up and down High Street. I didn't give a fuck. I was earning money. Getting a free Big Mac. Right? So, but that is, but other people would go on with McDonald's.
Yeah, they feel like they're entitled. They're like, McDonald's. I want to have this job and I want to be on this amount of money, otherwise I'm not doing it.
And let me tell you, the uniforms now are much better than they were then. Then it was brown flares, paper hats. I mean, you looked like it was the worst costume. You looked like Ronald McDonald, but without the makeup. But I did anything, and I think it was a good grounding, because if you can do anything, and then someone says, "Go and clean the toilet, go and do this, go and do that," you go, "All right."
Yeah.
Nothing's beneath you. You know? And I think education is important, but I think university meant a lot 10 years ago. It means nothing now, unless you want to be an accountant, a doctor, a lawyer. If you want to, or you want to go into engineering. If you want to do something that requires a degree, but if you go there going, "I'm going to get a degree," and people go, "Well, what are you studying?" And they go, "Religious studies or animal welfare or whatever," and you go, "Well, do you want to look after animals? Do you want to be a vicar?" No. Well, don't do it then. Because you're going to sit there for 3 years, you're going to get pissed, you're probably going to get laid and have a great time. But then at the end of it, you've got a degree.
And you're in loads of debt. It's terrible.
So what's the point?
Yeah. Terry, where can people find you if they wanted to follow you?
They can go to Terry Stone Official on Instagram, or Terry Stone 1 on Twitter. Sorry, no, what am I talking about? Terry Stone Official on Instagram, Terry Stone on Twitter, or Terry Stone on Facebook. Perfect.
And is there any sort of quick plugs? You got anything new coming out?
Once Upon a Time in London's going to be out for Father's Day in all supermarkets, all the digital platforms. I've got a film about the club scene that I've directed and produced called King of Clubs. That's going to be out later this year.
Anything on Netflix and stuff coming out?
Not at the moment, but there's a load of stuff coming out later in the year. So there's Rise of the Foot Soldier 4's coming out.
Oh, right.
This documentary about the club scene's coming out. There's going to be a football fan documentary coming out. There's a horror movie I've done. There's a lot of stuff that's going to be coming out. Yeah. So
perfect. At the end of every single episode, I have this little catchphrase, which is "Be happy, never content."
Yeah.
I've got my own interpretation of it, but rather than me explaining it to you, if I were to say, what's Terry Stone's version of "Be happy, never content"? What does that mean to you?
Be happy, never content. I think it kind of goes back to my saying, "Winners never quit and quitters never win."
Yeah.
It's sort of, I think you have to be positive in life, but I think you can never sit still. You can never just go, "I'm done now." I think you've always got to sort of think, "Okay, I've done that. What's next?" That's why I come out of the club scene, because when I was doing the clubs, I'd come out of it because I'd done it all, and it was just about putting events on, making money. It was boring. There's people shooting people. It wasn't a nice environment to be in, and I just thought, I'm just doing this for the money now. I'm not doing it because I enjoy it. I'm not creating anything. I'm at the top, right? I've got the brands. I've got the albums with Sony. I'm doing 20 events a month. I'm doing IB. I'm doing the world, right? The DJs that started off for me, they're all fucking pop stars now. People like Sigma, DJ Fresh, Hype, Andy C. Miss Dynamite started off with us. Dizzy Rascal, all these people, Kano, they all started off at events doing stuff, and they're all now these huge pop stars. So Solid Crew, and you just think, wow, these people started off for me right at the beginning. Now they're all, 25 years later, pop stars. The brands I created are still going.
Yeah.
But I don't miss it because I've done it, and it's the same with probably the movie business. If you win a couple of Oscars and you produce a couple of £100 million films, you do some hugely successful TV series, you get to the point where you go, I've done it all now.
Yeah, you so sort of acclimatise.
You might just go, do you know something? I'm happy to make £200 million films for the rest of my life. I'm happy to do a high-end TV series for the rest of my life. Happy days. But I think if I get to that stage, which I think I will, I don't know when, but I will get there, I will at that point go, fucking done it now. then it'd be something else.
Now you need to chase something else, yeah.
Or not. You know, maybe this is my calling, and maybe all the stuff that I'd done leading up to this point was to prepare me for what I'm doing now.
Yeah, wicked.
Who knows?
Well, thank you to my fellow South Londoner.
That's
nice one, Terry.
Yes.
Is it a nudge? That's South London nudge. And that's it. Thank you very much.
Cheers.